Madagascar, a land renowned for its breathtaking natural beauty, unique wildlife found nowhere else on Earth, and a rich tapestry of cultural heritage. Yet, hidden deep within the chaotic heart of its capital city, Antananarivo exists a stark contrast to this beauty. Antanimora Prison stands as a grim and forgotten relic, infamous for being one of the harshest, most overcrowded, and least humane correctional facilities in the world. Beneath the surface of a vibrant nation lies a place few dare to see. Constructed during the era of French colonial rule, Antanimora Prison was never intended to contain the overwhelming number of inmates now jammed into its decaying structure. Originally built for far fewer people, the facility now groans under the weight of thousands. Disease, unrelenting violence, extreme malnutrition, and crushing hopelessness are part of the daily routine for those trapped behind its walls. These conditions paint a haunting picture of a broken system on the brink of collapse. What sets Antanimora apart from even the most notorious prisons is not just the squalor or violence, but the complete lack of institutional control, care, and compassion. It's a place where survival is an unending, invisible battle fought by thousands every single day, unseen and unheard by the outside world. In this documentary, we invite you to join us on a rare and sobering journey behind the bars of Antanimora Prison. We'll explore a facility where the ideas of justice, human dignity, and basic rights seem to have vanished entirely. Here, inmates aren't just serving time, they're fighting for their very existence. In a place that has seemingly been abandoned by both society and the state. Antanimora Prison was established in the early 20th century, during the period when Madagascar was under French colonial control. It was originally constructed as a facility to detain political dissidents, suspected criminals, and anyone perceived as a threat to colonial authority. The prison was more than just a place of detention. It was a tool of fear and repression used to break the spirit of resistance and maintain colonial dominance through harsh punishment and isolation. After Madagascar gained its independence in 1960, the prison remained fully operational, evolving into what is now the largest correctional institution in the country. However, instead of transforming into a center for rehabilitation or justice, Antanimora spiraled further into dysfunction. The infrastructure crumbled, maintenance was neglected, and as the population of inmates grew, the conditions inside worsened. Today, the prison stands as a symbol of state neglect and systemic failure, rather than reform or justice. In theory, Antanimora Prison was designed to hold no more than 800 inmates at full capacity. But the grim reality today is that the facility houses over 4,000 people within its collapsing and unsanitary walls. The extreme overcrowding has created an environment that's not only inhumane, but also dangerously unstable, exacerbating every problem inside its gates. Daily life inside Antanimora is shaped by one overwhelming factor: extreme and relentless overcrowding. Inmates are forced to sleep packed tightly together, often shoulder to shoulder, with barely enough room to sit upright, let alone lie down comfortably. The air is thick with the unbearable stench of sweat, rot, and human waste, creating a suffocating atmosphere. With no personal space, no privacy, and no basic comfort, survival itself becomes a psychological and physical challenge. We were treated like animals trapped in a tiny, filthy cage, recalls one former inmate. You couldn't take a single step without bumping into someone else. At night, lying down was impossible, so we slept sitting up, pressed together like sardines. People died all the time from untreated diseases, from hunger, from the violence around them, and the worst part, no one on the outside seemed to care. Access to basic necessities such as food and clean water is severely limited. Prisoners largely depend on their families to bring them meals, but many inmates receive nothing due to poverty or lack of contact. For those without outside support, the choices are grim: beg from others, steal what little they can, or go hungry. Malnutrition is widespread, and what passes as a meal is often just a small scoop of plain rice, barely enough to sustain life. Medical care inside Antanimora is almost non-existent. The prison is a breeding ground for contagious diseases like tuberculosis, skin infections, and parasitic infestations such as scabies. With so many inmates crammed together, illnesses spread rapidly and often go untreated. The prison's small medical ward is overwhelmed and under-equipped, lacking even basic supplies like antibiotics or clean bandages. For many, falling sick here is a death sentence. In a place where necessities are scarce, guards are few, and chaos reigns, power doesn't lie with the authorities, it belongs to those who can seize it. Inside Antanimora, organized gangs rule the cell blocks with an iron fist. They control resources, enforce their own brutal codes, and determine who eats, who sleeps, and who suffers. We simply don't have enough officers to manage everyone, admits one guard. It's the gangs who truly run things on the inside. If an inmate wants food, a safe place to sleep, or even protection from violence, they must pay the gangs. Those who can't pay are at the mercy of those who can. It's a lawless hierarchy fueled by fear and desperation. Bribery, beatings, and underground justice are the unofficial laws of Antanimora. New inmates, especially the young, poor, or physically weak, are immediate targets. They're robbed, assaulted, and manipulated, often within hours of arrival. With no one to turn to and no protection, they quickly learn the brutal rules of survival, or fall victim to them. The first week inside is the most terrifying, recalls another inmate. If you come in with no money, no connections, and no knowledge of the gangs, you're beaten almost instantly. If you resist, the punishment is worse. You either keep your head down and try to disappear, or you join a gang just to survive another day. There's no middle ground. Shockingly, not everyone inside Antanimora has been convicted of a crime. In fact, the majority, over 65%, are pre-trial detainees. These individuals are locked up while waiting for court proceedings that are often delayed for months or even years. Some have committed minor offenses while others are entirely innocent, yet they remain imprisoned without trial. My son was accused of stealing a mobile phone, says a mother. He was arrested, and since then, 4 years have passed. His case has never gone to court. He insists he's innocent, and I believe him, but it doesn't matter. No one listens, and no one helps. You just wait. With a judicial system plagued by corruption, inefficiency, and lack of resources, countless inmates spend years behind bars without ever being formally charged or tried. Some prisoners tragically die before even having the chance to face a judge, their right to justice stolen by a broken system. Despite the appalling conditions, Antanimora has not been completely forgotten. Human rights organizations and prison reform advocates have long been working to bring attention to the crisis. These groups continue to push for improvements, calling for fairer legal processes, better living conditions, and the humane treatment of all prisoners, regardless of their crimes or status. We are doing what we can, says one activist, but it's an uphill battle. The system is deeply flawed and change is slow. Until the government takes real responsibility and commits to fundamental reform, Antanimora will continue to be a place of suffering and despair. For a few inmates, freedom eventually comes, but release from Antanimora does not mean true liberation. Many leave the prison physically scarred, emotionally shattered, and psychologically traumatized. The horrors they've endured don't disappear with their sentence, they carry them forever. Antanimora Prison is not just a place of confinement. It's a dark reflection of a justice system in crisis, where delays are endless, hope is almost non-existent, and survival overshadows everything else. It stands as a tragic reminder of what happens when systems fail and people are forgotten. Yet in spite of the darkness, there is still a glimmer of hope. Through global awareness, continued advocacy, and decisive action, it is possible that change could come. Perhaps one day Antanimora can be transformed, not into a perfect place, but into one where justice, dignity, and humanity are no longer out of reach.